First of all, we make a homage to the Buddha, saying, chanting 3 times Namo Tassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Please repeat after us. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panati pata veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyami. Adinnādāna veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyami. Kāmesu micchācārā veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyami. Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyami. Suramēraya majjapamā daṭṭhānā veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyami. Tisaranena saddhiṃ pañcasīlaṃ dhammam sādhukaṃ surakkitaṃ kattvā appamādena sampādeta. Everybody can say, Āma Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Brothers and sisters, welcome to this course. I see most of you are new faces. I see a few old faces. But it's a tremendously interesting undertaking. We welcome you, right? Maybe those of you who are new were a little bit frightened off by the mumbo jumbo that we did just now. All right? But as you go along, you will see it has nothing to do with winning lottery tickets. It's a very deep. Everything that you participated in has a lot of meaning that goes back thousands of years. But I still want to immediately draw attention to the opening invocation as well as the little prayers that we did. No, it's okay. But you will see that at no point there did we say we hope that the Buddha will help us or save us or whatever. Yeah? Buddhism, what Buddhism is, must be at the very beginning clarified. The Buddha did not teach Buddhism. The Buddha did not invent Buddhism. I am quite sure that if the Buddha came down today and saw what a mess we made of his teaching, he will be quite surprised. he will say, did I ask you to bow down 3 times? Did I ask you to do this, that, and the other? Alright? Because Buddhism is the Dharma. That's the correct word. The Buddha taught the Dharma. And what is the Dharma? The Dharma is, Dhark is to uphold. That which upholds the universe. What are the principles on which this universe operates? Yeah? We are not interested in who made the universe. Yeah? Whoever made it made a mess. Okay, so we are not too interested in that. The Buddha says, and the Buddha says that very clearly, your starting point is now. Your starting point is not the past, yeah, nor the future. And that is absolutely essential to grasp in Buddhism, that it is a religion which emphasizes the now. Because that's the only thing that you can have control about. You have no control over the past, it's gone. You have no control over the future. We don't know how the courts are going to react tomorrow. You don't even know when you walk out what kind of traffic jams are going to come out. We don't know what's going to happen. But we do know that this is the moment. And if each moment, this is central to Buddhist teaching, that if each moment you control and you avoid evil thoughts or whatever, you have in yourself, in your own hands, the key to happiness. Because that's what we are doing here. That's why we are sitting here, yeah, on a Saturday afternoon, and so many other things to do. We sit down and what are we here for? Oh, by the way, do you know what you are here for? You see, some people are saying they don't know what they are here for. You are here to gain happiness. Yeah, you're suffering here, sitting in these uncomfortable seats to gain happiness. Okay? And so, why is that so? Because you know that all the money that you can earn outside there, all the material gain that you can get, that has not brought you that ultimate happiness. You know somewhere along the line there is something more you want. Alright? And the Buddha tells you that if you understand how the universe operates, and you live in harmony with the operation of that universe, don't make unnecessary demands on that universe. When the tsunami strikes or an earthquake strikes or a cyclone strikes, don't ask why is it so. The Buddha says it is so. And how do you live with that? So that is what Buddhism is all about. Alright? And the Buddha tells us, again, the here and the now. Don't worry about going to heaven. That's the flip side to that. Don't worry about going to heaven. Why not? Don't worry about going to hell either. See? So those two are in the future. But the Buddha tells us, as we shall study, the Buddha tells us, we can be in heaven here and now. Heaven is not a place you go to when you die, but heaven is a state of mind. Heaven is a state of mind you create, which brings you that happiness. And the Buddhist stand is, if every now you are in a state of perfect happiness, from this moment to the next moment, because this moment becomes yesterday. And the next moment, tomorrow, will become now. And if you go like that for the next 70, 80 years, enjoying every moment in perfect happiness, you do not have to worry about dying. Because you have already lived in heaven all your life here. Okay? And so, there is no, it stands to reason that you will go to heaven in the next life. There is no need to convert. There is no need to even convert to Buddhism. We don't care whether you convert or not. Alright? So all that you do is, if you follow these principles, we guarantee you that happiness will come. Okay? We don't guarantee to make you happy. We only tell you, we will teach you what the Buddha taught, and you make yourself happy. because we follow the principle that if you go to a doctor and you tell the doctor I'm sick and the doctor gives you medicine, you can't tell the doctor, hey doctor, I know you're going to charge me a lot, I pay you double, you take the medicine. So I don't like medicine. Okay, we don't say that. You have to take the medicine yourself. So these are things we are putting in place. All right, we will. The teaching of the Buddha is to open your minds to rationally look at the world, understand that world, and proceed from there. Okay. Now, it comes here. Don't you feel confused by a self-proclaimed divine messenger who urges you to embrace his creed? I'm sure you have seen all that. Yeah. By a faith healer, by a religious group warning you against the devil. None of this is terribly important. Okay. However, when most of us have been through that. We have had people knocking on our doors and telling us that they can save us, that they know the truth, and so on. And then you go to some other place, somebody else comes and tells you, no, those guys are going to hell. Yeah? We will show you the real heaven. And then you go to the third place and they say, no, they both are going to hell. We are the ones we've got. All right? Now, the same thing happened during the Buddha's time. During the Buddha, this is actually something that we are very proud about, because it was said 2,500 years ago, and it is so far ahead of its time. All right? Just like today, the young people during the Buddha's time, they were confused. Because every religious group, by the way, there were 62 religions existing in India during the time of the Buddha. There were 62, and the Buddha studied all of them, rejected all of them. That's later. All right? But what the Buddha said was, these guys came and said, we are confused. Everybody tells us they have the key to the truth, but we do not know. Teach us how to choose a religion. Now, in any other religion, the leader would have said, that's a stupid question. Of course my religion is the best. You have come to the right place. Yeah? And instead of saying that, the Buddha did not say, believe me. That's another thing we have to understand about what Buddhism is. Buddhism is not a religion of faith. We do not ask you to believe blindly just because the Buddha said so. The Buddha himself gives us the authority to question. And the Buddha gives an example. He says, if I close my hand like this, my fist like this, and tell you, I have a diamond in my hand, yeah, and you believe me because Uncle Vijaya says so. All right? But that is faith. You do not know. And that faith can easily be broken. But if I open my hands and you see that there is a diamond, there is no more faith required. You cannot go back. You cannot have any doubt. You have seen it for yourself. Now that in Buddhism, finish, belum start pun. Okay, right. Okay. You'll have to keep something. Okay, right. You see, so that is what the Buddha says. The Buddha says, you must question. And those of you who are new to Buddhism, please remember, you have every right to question everything that the Buddha taught. Yeah? And the Buddha was challenged for 45 years. And everything that he was challenged with, he replied. And we are lucky that all of this has been recorded. So there is no question you will ask that has not been asked before. Okay? So you have to. However, we do ask that you ask the question in a civilized manner. Okay? In a respectful manner. We've had very, very crude ways of asking questions. So we ask you, you respect us when you ask the question. But if you ask in a spirit of inquiry, no Dhamma speaker, I give you this assurance now, no Dhamma speaker has any right to get angry with you for asking the question. If he gets angry with you, that's a sure sign he does not know the answer. Okay, that's a sure sign. If you don't know the answer, yesterday, for example, I was asked to explain chitta and vijnana. I don't even know how to spell chitta and vijnana. Straight away I said sorry, and Dr. Chankayin was with me. Both of us said no, sorry. If you had given us this as a written question, we got time to go back and read it up, we could have told you. But now we cannot. That's all that a Dhamma speaker can say. But he cannot condemn you, and he cannot tell you you will go to hell for asking that question. Okay? Right. Now, so when these young people comes, what does the Buddha say? Yes, Kalamas, that was the name of the group of people. It is proper that you have doubt, that you have perplexity. For a doubt has arisen in a matter which is doubtful. Now, do not be led by reports. We know how many religions they stand up and they bear testimony. The testimony, I was not present there. So if he wants to tell me that that is what happened, don't believe it. With an open mind, accept it, but don't believe by reports. Alright? Or tradition. You see, you ask a lot of people, why do you don't know lah, my father did, then where did your father get? Don't know lah, my grandfather before he came from China, he did, so I do lah. Alright? So, tradition. Alright? Or hearsay. You have a lot of this. You know, my friends, uncles, brothers, sisters, dogs, master, he was cured when he mentioned the name of a certain god. Bring him in. No, he's not free to come. Okay? And then, of course, the more difficult one is, this guy was dying, and he changed his religion, and he was saved, he went to heaven. Can we go and visit him in heaven? No, cannot. Okay? But what proof do I have? You don't ask that question, you'll go to hell. Okay? So these kind of things, the Buddha says, don't fall for it. Yeah? Be not led by the authority of religious texts. The Buddha says that what he's saying is, he's talking about himself. He says, don't believe everything that's written in your Buddhist text. Don't believe that. Don't believe it, but read it and understand it intelligently. When you understand it, you will have realization. Why do we say this? Because we are confident in our teaching. Because we are confident in our teaching, we say, go ahead, challenge it. If I was not sure, that's when I'll say, don't go and study other religions. We say to you, go and study every other religion. You compare. Okay? Then, nor by mere logic. Sometimes it may be very logical, but logic is not necessarily spiritual. Okay? Or inference. Or by considering appearance. Nor by the delight in speculative arguments. This is something you've got to be very careful about. Some people can come here and stand and talk very cleverly. And you can be mesmerized by what he says. And the way he says it. And this big, loud thing and singing and all of that. And wow! You get carried away. And the Buddha says, watch it. Use your intelligence. Are you getting carried away by the glamour of the thing or by the reasoning behind it? Okay? Right. Nor by the idea, this is our teacher. Just because the Buddha says it, don't believe it. The Buddha said it. There might be something to it. Okay? But you have to find it out yourself until the realization comes. Once you realize, you cannot lose your confidence. Okay? Some religious groups use slogans until a person succumbs to those suggestions. Okay? Do not blindly believe a tradition or the sacred scriptures. The Buddha warned us against logic and opinion. The highest truth is beyond the ability of an untrained human mind to reason out logically. For this, I will quote from Taoism. Yeah, Lao Tzu, in the first verse of the Tao Te Ching, he says, the Tao which can be talked about, the Tao which can be discussed, that is not the Tao. Yeah? For example, you cannot You cannot ask, there's a blind man. And the blind man, he's been blind from birth. And he asks you, hey guys, you guys always talk about blue, the sky is blue. What is blue? You try explaining it to a blind man. Why? We don't have the language. He does not have the language to understand what we mean. All that we can say is not black, and he'll say, what's black? You see? Similarly, certain truths cannot be understood by logic, by reasoning. Okay? So, we have to be worried. The highest truth is beyond the ability. So, we have to have that kind of humility to say, for the time being, these difficult things I cannot understand. I do not understand what is nirvana. So, I will not. I don't even know whether karma or the rebirth, these things, I don't know whether it can be true. So, you can put it on hold for the time being. You don't have to believe that. There's a lot of other things about this life which you need to study. Okay? Right. Now, man is a hive of opinions. Unless he's open, he's a prisoner. But kalamas, when you yourself know, not because the Buddha says so, when you yourself know what is bad. What is bad in Buddhism? The definition of good. For something to be considered good, it must be beneficial to you. And it must be beneficial to the other party. When it is mutually beneficial, then it is considered good. But if it is good for you, but not good for the other person, then it falls off. It falls apart. Okay? Right. And censured by the wise. Now we will learn what we mean by wise. When you yourself know these things are good, not blameworthy, but praised by the wise, accept and practice them. Yeah? Before doing, we ask, is this wholesome? When it performed, does it bring happiness to ourselves as well as to others? Okay? Right. The Buddha was open-minded about other religions. I told you there were 62 religions. And the Buddha said, somebody came and asked, actually his foster mother, Mahaprajapati Gautami, came to the Buddha. That was his aunt. And she said, how do I tell what is a right religion or not? How do I believe? And the Buddha said, no problem. He did not say his teaching is the best. He said, the truth is to be found in all religions. You must respect sincere believers of the other religions. If a Christian is sincere, respect him. If a Muslim is sincere, respect him. Okay? But if he is a hypocrite, then watch it. On the other hand, he says, I teach 4 truths. There's only 4 things I teach. There is suffering. This suffering is caused by craving. This suffering can be ended. And there is a way out of this suffering. I only teach these 4. If you can find any of these elements of my teaching in other religions, accept and respect those religions for that. All religions tell us don't kill, don't steal, don't commit sexual misconduct, don't tell lies. Respect all religions for that thing. Alright? But Buddhism goes beyond, and Buddhism talks about no soul. Buddhism is the only religion that talks about no soul. Yeah? And there we part company with other religions. Other religions talk about a creator. We don't talk about a creator. There we part company. But when you can find the truth that is taught in Buddhism in other religions, accept it. Yeah? The freedom of thought is encouraged. Freedom of thought. That's what I started off with. You must think for yourself. But before you can think for yourself, you must have the equipment with which to think. That is why we conduct courses like this. We provide you with the basics. Then, based on what you know, you start. And you go deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay? Right. The practical approach, Buddhism and science both advocate free inquiry. One of the principles of, you see, the Buddha says, very hard to, when you're watching the clock. Okay, right. Anyway, You see, when the Buddha was enlightened, the first person he meets, looks at the Buddha and asks the Buddha, "Are you a man?" And the Buddha says, "No, I'm not a man." Then he says, "Are you a god?" "No, I'm not a god either." Then this guy looks at the Buddha and says, "Very handsome, very good-looking guy, but a little bit cuckoo. He can't decide whether he's man or god." And then he asks, "Who are you?" And the Buddha says, "Known are the things to be known. I have known everything that is to be known. Whom shall I call my teacher?" Now, when you get an answer like that, just fancy meeting Brad Pitt on the road. "Are you God?" "No." "Are you man?" "Who are you?" "Well, I got no teacher." So quite rightly, because how can you test? How can you test what the Buddha knows simply by looking at him? So the Buddha asked this guy to believe in him. The guy quite rightly and very importantly, the scriptures record that he put his tongue out at him and walked away. And walked off. The Buddha, very significantly, the Buddha did not stop him and say, "Hey, I'm just starting a new religion and you first one already failure. Anybody else wants to try?" That is what would have happened in any other religion. But the Buddha said, "You are not ready, go." The Buddha is unperturbed. The Buddha knows. That's again something about you are free to come, you are free to go. We never go from house to house. We don't do that. That's not our thing. You are free to come, you are free to go. All right? And that's where we learn that on the very first incident. All right? Then the Buddha knows that when you want to teach something, you don't start by asking people to believe something they cannot test. So he goes, and that's actually happening this month, next full moon. Next full moon, we are going to have the first sermon where the Buddha teaches for the very first time. That is the thing. Okay, it's called a Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra. Anyway, in that very first sermon, the Buddha starts scientifically. He starts by saying the Four Noble Truths. He says, there is suffering. Now, there is nobody, there were 5 people listening to him, nobody could have said, "Hey, where got suffering? You prove to me." Then, in case there was a doubt, he says, birth is suffering, old age is suffering, disease is suffering. What you want, you do not get. What you do not want, chases after you. All these kind of frustrations, physical and mental. That is observable phenomena. That is the method of science. When he starts that way, the listener cannot argue. The listener sits down and watches. Earlier on, the guy could argue. "I don't believe." In this case, we are not asking you to believe anything. We are asking you to observe. Free inquiry, freedom from authoritarian dogma. The Buddha discouraged the vain search after speculative issues. This is exactly what Lao Tzu says also. Don't talk and talk and talk and talk about things colorblind. You don't waste your time telling the blind guy what color blue is. And he can ask you more and more questions. You can give more and more answers. You waste your time. And so, like the Taoists, keep quiet. Just keep quiet. Okay? And I must share this brilliant thing with you. My grandson is 6 years old. My grandson and his mother were in Wanutama, and while they were having in the McDonald's, a girl comes with a little card, and she points it. My daughter reads it and gives her $10. So my grandson asked why. He said because she is deaf and dumb, so she can only write. Okay. My grandson stopped for a few minutes and he said, "Wow, must be very peaceful inside, huh?" Don't you think? Don't you think? And he's only 6 years old. My grandson now. Okay, right. Okay. Right. He doesn't get it from his father though. Okay, right. All right. All irrelevant. That's another thing about Buddhism and Taoism. You may be wondering why I'm always talking about Taoism as well. Not to worry, buy one, free one. Okay, right. Don't waste your time about irrelevant issues. Get to the pokok bicara. That's what the Buddha says. Don't waste your time. Yeah? All that you have to do, the Buddha says, these are the 4 things. And the Buddha says very clearly, yeah, you have a problem. Yeah, don't worry about where the problem came from. Worry about now, how do I get out of the problem? Okay, and that is your problem. Yeah? You don't worry about past and future. Okay, right. The fruits of the Dhamma can be experienced here and now. Very simple. You do good, you experience good. It's as good as that. You do evil, you experience evil. It is not punishment from heaven, but it is what you call it? It is not punishment from heaven, but action and reaction. Action and reaction. Okay? If the punishment doesn't come immediately, it will come somehow. You don't study, don't expect to pass. Repeat. You don't study, forget about November. Okay? Right. But we will give you your 10% for coming here. Alright? Anyone who practices a path can attain anyone. It is meant for all. Yeah? No special people. Number 1. But you must walk the path. In Buddhism we say, just praying to the Buddha and offering flowers will get you nowhere. If it is done without understanding. Okay? Right. Nibbana, Nirvana. They are the same thing. Maybe we should clarify that at this point. Sometimes you will see it is spelled Nirvana. Now it is spelled Nibbana. Sometimes you will see it spelled Kamma. Kamma. Sometimes Karma. Don't worry. Like Santi just told us, this is what we call Pali. It's just a matter of pronunciation. The Nirvana is used by the Mahayana. Okay? And they go for Sanskrit. So Sanskrit, you spell Nirvana. You see? Like in English, CAT is cat. In Chinese, it is chat. Chinese pula. Bahasa Malaysia, it's chat. CAT, chat lah. Okay? Right. Okay. It is open to everyone. That's okay. Anyone who is willing to take the plunge to start studying this, it is open. There is no conversion. It's something that happens in your mind. And you decide to follow this teaching, that's it. You do not, just by wearing a yellow thread and walking around, does not make you any holier than other persons. Or if you call yourself Siddhartha Gan, it does not mean you are going to go to a Buddhist heaven. Yeah? Mother Teresa is more likely to be there before you. Why? Because she practiced Buddhism in her heart. Okay? All right. Open lah, okay lah. Okay, now all right. Buddhism goes beyond science in its acceptance. Yes. Buddhism goes where science cannot explain. The late Dr. Mahathir, the former Prime Minister, he said science can explain what? Science can explain how. Science can never explain why. Why are we born? Why do we die? Yeah? Why is there happiness? All of this, the why to get the why, you need religion. That is a spirituality. And Buddhism goes beyond science, though. Okay? Right. Buddhism alone says that the riddle of existence can be solved. What does that mean? Most religions ask you to believe on faith. And usually we like to use the adjective blind faith. Yeah? In Buddhism we are told there is no room for faith. There is a room for what we call saddha. Saddha means a confidence. Most of you, since September the 11th, you may have been asking yourselves, why is it that everybody else seems to be at each other's throats? All right? They seem to be destroying, killing, hating. But the Buddhists seem to be peculiarly lazy and close their eyes and passive. It's not that they are passive. All right? Because they see that the real meaning behind the universe. The real Taoist has no room, no time to go around disturbing the universe. He's more interested in calming himself from within. All right? And if you understand the universe, you understand this problem of existence, then you will live according to that. And you will gain harmony within. And this nirvana that we talked about is not something, it's not a place you go to when you die. It's not heaven. It's a state of mind. The Buddha was only 35 years old when he attained nirvana. He died at the age of 80, 45 years later. But he was in a state of nirvana. You don't go to nirvana. You attain nirvana. Okay? Right. Science is not concerned with moral consequences. Science can do for you the clothing, science can do birth control, science can do all those things. But science is not interested, is it right or is it wrong? Yeah? That is the area of religion. Okay? We need science because science is an agent of change. And one of the central teachings of Buddhism is change. One of the reasons we suffer is because everything in this world changes. Everything in this world changes. A few days ago, I was at a marriage counseling course. There were all these nice-looking couples waiting to get married. Oh my goodness, their eyes were shining, and they couldn't, even though it was a religious area, they couldn't keep their hands off each other. And I was looking at them and say, okay, this is courtship. All right. Then I told them, guys, there's a very big difference between courtship, marriage, honeymoon, and hangover. Okay? Everything changes. I think some of you have heard this story over and over again. I'll repeat it. I once had a friend who came to me and said, Vijaya, when I first got married 40 years ago, life was beautiful. Every day I come home from work and my wife will bring the slippers, the dog will run around the house barking. It was so nice. But now the principle of change has taken place. Now I come home after work, the dog brings the slippers, the wife runs around barking. Okay? And if you don't understand that, then you suffer. But if you know that this woman you married tonight, oh, by the way, the women also, they wake up in the morning, what, this one I married. Okay? So, be careful. Okay? Right. Bertrand Russell the Great. This, just because Bertrand Russell said, does not mean it is right. Lah. This is what the Buddhas warned you. Just because he said it right, don't say it is right. Now you check for yourself. Okay? It takes up where science cannot lead. Because it talks about psychology. Buddhism talks about psychology. Buddhism says nothing happens in the real world. Everything happens in the mind. The mind is how you perceive it. Yeah. Yesterday, somebody asked me in Kinrara, how can I be born beautiful? Yeah. Is it I'm ugly now because last life I did bad things? So now if I do good things, will I be born beautiful? My question is, what is the meaning of beautiful? What is ugly? What is the meaning of ugly? We think chichaks are ugly. What do you think the chichak thinks of us? Okay? So what is ugly? Alright? So it's all a matter of perception. Alright? So similarly, as he says here, Buddhism goes into the mind. And Buddhism teaches you to see things as they really are. Yeah. The meaning of the word Buddha, the Buddha means the awakened one. We are all asleep. Yeah. Now, just now I talked to you about Confucianism, Taoism. A Taoist philosopher, his name is Chuang-Tzu. Now, don't tell me how to pronounce Chuang-Tzu, but Chuang-Tzu, he said, last night, Chuang-Tzu dreamt of a butterfly. But today, Chuang-Tzu wants to know, did Chuang-Tzu dream the butterfly, or did the butterfly dream Chuang-Tzu? Who is dreaming whom? Is this a dream? Are you actually dead? And when you die, you are awakened? Maybe this is all a dream. When you see reality as it is, that is Buddha's point. When you see things as they really are, then you will not have problems. So your task now is to learn to see things. Is there a Vijaya here? Yes, there is. But is this Vijaya real? My next question always is, where is that cute little baby that was born 68 years ago in Sramban? It has become the cute little man talking to you now. But when cute little baby became cute little man, where did cute little baby go? It didn't go anywhere. There was no baby. There was only a process. And this cute little baby became man, became old man, will become corpse, and will go on. Where is the real baby? Then the next one, of course, I have to tell this. When I teach world religion, one student told me in an exam some time ago, Malay never eat pig. In the exam he wrote down, we are talking about Islam. So he said, Malay never eat pig. I said, Vijaya also never eat pig. Vijaya eat pork. Okay? What is the point? The point is, there never was a pig. When pig became pork, there never was pig. Pig is only a combination of parts. And when it takes into that particular combination of parts, we call it pig. Now, water. Is it water? It's H2O. It's hydrogen. It's oxygen. What is hydrogen? What's oxygen? Molecules. What are molecules? Protons, electrons, neutrons. So what is this? Energy. It's not there. It's just a convenient term that we use. When we understand that there is no I here, then there is no my. When there is no my, there is no grasping. When there is no grasping, there is no frustration. Okay? Again, this watch is a nice watch, right? This watch was given to me by my son-in-law. Okay? Nice son-in-law? Think again. He went to play golf. In the competition, he got first prize, which was 6 bottles of whiskey. This is the free gift that came with the... He kept the whiskey and he gave me this. Okay, I'm walking. Now I know things as they really are. I'm walking along the road and somebody mugs me and says, give me your watch. Will I have any problem giving up this watch? I will say, buy one, free one, take my son-in-law also. Okay? Okay, but the point is, Buddha means awakened one. The point again is that we have to wake up, and that's the task ahead of you, to wake up to see things as they really are. When you see things as they really are, you will not grasp at them. When you don't grasp at them, you cannot be frustrated. I cannot be frustrated when I lose this watch. It's something that I don't want. I have grown up. I don't need it. I can do without it. It's valueless. You see? So if anybody takes it. But if it was something that was worth a lot of money, then, if it's worth a lot of money also, I couldn't care 2 hoots. But if it was something that was very close to me, yeah, giving it up would be very, very difficult. Okay? So, that's nirvana. What is nirvana? Very simple. Absence of craving. When you stop craving, what do you crave for? You crave for life. You crave for your senses to be satisfied. That is craving. But when you stop all that and just let go, we call it renunciation, that is happiness. That is true happiness. We must, at this point, what Buddhism is, Buddhism promises you happiness. Yeah? But before you can attain happiness, you must understand happiness is not pleasure. The world is chasing after pleasure, thinking it is going to get happiness. Pleasure is temporary. Pleasure changes. That's what happens between a newly married couple and a couple that's been married for 40 years. All right? Why? Because change takes place. And you don't. But true happiness cannot change. True happiness is permanent. So we Buddhists, we go for the permanent form of happiness, while, that's another thing again in Buddhism, we follow the middle path. The middle path means don't go into extremes. The Buddha says there's nothing wrong with being rich. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of money. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the pleasures of the senses, good food, yeah, good music, good everything, but in moderation. If you do that, then that is what Buddhism is. Okay? Right. Self-reliance. Then the Buddha says, don't rely on God. Do not rely on God. You have to rely on yourself. Yeah? You also cannot say, he made me angry. He cannot make you angry. You make yourself angry, using him as the excuse. If you see things as they really are, then you'll say, you make me angry, you make laugh. You see? It's just like when a man is deaf, you go and call him, you idiot, you fool. Yeah. Because he didn't hear you. Can you, when somebody is making you angry, cut off your... See, but don't observe. Hear, but don't listen. If you can do that, you are a very happy person. It's as simple as that. And do you need to go to heaven to do all that? No. Here and now. Of all our griefs, sorrows, anxieties spring from the imperfections of heart and mind. We call that delusion. We call that not seeing things as they really are. Your heart and your mind must see things as they really are. Since man, when we say man, we mean woman also, okay? Please, nothing personal here. Yeah, is responsible for his own sorrow. Nobody makes you happy or sad. You make yourself happy or sad. You allow it. Yeah, it is within in his power. As much as you allow yourself to be angry, you can take the steps to stop being angry. You cannot say, I cannot help it. There's no such thing. You become your own master. That we give you in Buddhism. You do not need to pray to the Buddha. Alright? Okay. The Buddha explained, good deeds yield good fruits, while evil deeds yield bad fruits. The Buddha showed us the path. The Buddha showed us the path. He only showed the path. You got to walk it yourself. It's just like the doctor giving the medicine. Okay? Self-reliance is left to us. Effort is needed. This again we tell you now. If you think you can sit down there and call yourself a Buddhist and put all that and then make no effort to clean your mind, you may as well go home. Alright? The Buddha, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. The Buddhas merely show the way. We ourselves must walk the path. The Buddhas merely show the way. And what are the three things that all of us have? Hatred, anger, delusion. Actually, it should be the other way around. Delusion first. When you mistake a Vijaya to be here, when you mistake this to be something real, then you get the I. That's delusion. When there is an I and there is a you, yeah, then we make demands. We grasp at things. But all these things are not real either. Yeah? Is it neither pig nor pork? Yeah? Neither old man Vijaya nor baby Vijaya. When you see those things, then the delusion is the cause. When you have delusion, you get actually craving. The delusion leads to grasping and craving. All right? And by the nature, by its very nature, the grasping can never be satisfied. Why? Because the thing that I am grasping keeps changing as much as I. All of us have had this experience of going somewhere. We have always wanted something. We go to the supermarket, we save, and then we buy it. The moment we buy it and bring it, we say, should have bought the other one. Haven't we all gone? What has happened? Because you have changed and the object that you desire has changed. When you don't see that, you get frustrated. Okay? The best thing is, don't desire objects. Let go. The Buddha teaches us in Buddhism, we only need 4 things in this life. Do you know that? We only need 4 things. Food, shelter. Food, shelter, clothing, medicine. Think very carefully and take this message to the Sultan of Brunei. Okay? Do food. How much food do you need? How much food does a human being need for a day? Certainly not the amount of food that they put out at a banquet table in a 5-star hotel. One of the most sinful things on earth today is where you have these buffet dinners, where these people's eyes are that big and their stomachs are this small. And they go around and fill up the plate. And they go there, take, they come back, say, no, not this one. Then go back again. And what happens to all of this? Gets thrown away. Okay? So, food. How much food? How much shelter? All that you need is a roof on your head. Do you need 90 rooms in your palace? Yeah? At the end of it all, what happens? You commit suicide anyway. Okay? What's the point? No use. And you can avoid food, shelter, clothing. Ladies, how many dresses do you need? 1 to wash, 1 to wear. Think about that. Okay? How many shoes do you need? How many legs do you have? Okay? So, if you see things as they really are, you will find that all your needs keep coming down, more and more and more. Alright? All your needs coming down. But, when we don't do that, we suffer. So, what Buddhism is Buddhism tries to make you understand. Cut down your needs. When you cut down your needs, you have less need to make more money to buy the things that you do not need. Think about that. All right? And if you cut down your needs and you still have a lot of money left over anyway, one of the things as Buddhists we have to do is, you cannot be happy unless you make other people happy. That's a very, very basic principle of Buddhism. You can only be happy when you make others happy. Another thing is what Buddhism is. We have a wrong misconception of Buddhism. Most of us think, see the Buddha, he's just sitting there, eyes closed, he never does anything. Alright? He never does that. So we also don't do anything. Most of the third world countries are Buddhist, you notice that? Because we've got this wrong impression. Luckily we got Confucianism. That tells you, no, this is all rubbish. Go and do something, make your life. See? But we've got a wrong understanding of Buddhism. Buddhism is not that at all. Buddhism, 5 precepts. Do not kill, do not steal, do not commit sexual misconduct, do not tell lies, and do not take drugs. Those are all negative. But it's not, I will not kill. Oh, no. it is while I will not kill, I will actively promote life. While I will not steal, I will actively promote the lives of others, the property of others. Yeah? While I will not myself commit sexual misconduct, I will not go around blowing people up. And same thing with lies and same thing with the thing. It is not only negative. Buddhism is a very, very active religion. You have to practice, and the more you practice, the more you lose yourself. The more you concern yourself with others, the less important you become. The more your I gets pushed down, down, down. When there is no more ego left, you can't do anything to me. It has been said, beware of the man. Beware of the man who does not want anything. And in today's Malaysian politics, everybody who wants something is the one who is suffering. Whereas we Buddhists, nothing, you take lah. Of course we cannot hope for it, but so we say, you take lah, we let go. You see how to be happy. Let go. Okay. By self is one defiled, by oneself is purified. There is no devil to make you commit sin. You commit the sin. Later we'll study this. Buddhists have no concept of sin. We don't believe in this thing of sin. Sin means something that God tells you don't do, you go ahead and do it. That is sin. But we say there is no God, so how can there be sin? Okay? And by self is one purified. God cannot purify you. No one can purify you. You have to purify. What is purify? Purify is not take a bath. Purify is wash up your mind. Kill your delusion. Kill your hatred. Kill your frustration. Kill your anger, hatred, greed, jealousy, fear, worry. Oh, a lot of work to do. Okay? But you yourself should walk the path. The Buddhas merely show the way. No blind faith is necessary to understand the Dharma. The truths of the Dharma. You notice Dhamma? Then you read the books, it will say Dharma. Same. Okay? Right. The truths of the Dharma can be tested and verified by personal experience. Okay? Faith is to believe something which your reason tells you cannot be true. Faith is something which your reason tells you cannot be true. Faith is when you believe that somebody was born of a virgin. That is faith. Alright? But your reason tells you cannot be. And in Buddhism, we say you don't need that type of faith. Oh, I don't believe in karma. Why you talk about karma? Nobody asked you to believe in karma. Oh, I don't believe in rebirth. Nobody asked you to believe in rebirth. Because nobody has come back from the other side. Has your cat ever told you, hey, you know, actually I was your uncle last life? Okay? So the Buddha tells you. That's something you cannot verify. What you cannot verify, leave it for future. That will come. Like now, of course, I believe very strongly in it, but that is at a very late stage. But at a beginning stage, all that you have to believe is, see things as they really are. Okay? For if your reason approved of it, there is no question of faith. The moment you realize, there is suffering. Do you need faith to tell you there is suffering? No. Do you need faith to tell you that if you don't want something, nobody can take it away from you? That's what the Buddha says. Appeals to you. See things as they really are. Don't believe things on faith. Okay? Confidence. We use the word Sraddha. S-A-D-D-H-A. Is the product of reason, knowledge and experience. That is the Buddhist aim. Yeah? When it is developed, confidence can never be blind. Okay? To the Buddhist, the Buddha is the greatest instructor in the Dhamma. There is nothing that is impractical or irrational. The Buddha practiced what he taught what he practiced. The Buddha always said, ehi passiko. You see, maybe I should explain this to you at the early stage. You will see the Buddha statue, sometimes he's seated like that. Yeah? Sometimes he's got his hand up there, sometimes his hand there, sometimes his hand there, like he doesn't know what to do with his hands. Like that's not it at all. Okay? When he does this, what he's saying to you is, I have nothing to hide. Not like the Shaolin master who keeps one secret from his disciple. All right? Just before he dies, he tells it, but then he's dying, so he can't remember, so he doesn't tell it. Okay? And little by little, it gets lost. But the Buddha says, no, I taught you everything, number one. Number two, I have nothing to hide. Come and see. Ehi passiko. Buddhism, this is the basic teaching of Buddhism, come and see. It does not say come and believe. You are not required to believe. All right? Okay. Accept my words only when you have examined them for yourself. Do not accept them simply because of the reverence. Here's the Buddha saying, whatever I teach you, don't believe. You test it until you realize it. Why? I was a human being. As a human being, I went through the same problems as you. Having done that, I came and I realized it. Now I'm telling you, you can do the same thing. He's not saying, you don't believe me, I'll punish you. You don't believe me, like Upaka, he says, you don't believe me, you go. That's okay by me. Alright? But if you want to follow me, well, I got the happiness. You want to follow, you follow. And you can test it akalika. When we say we describe the Dharma, one of the qualities of the teaching of the Buddha is akalika. Akalika means you get the results immediately. Don't wait until you die. Okay? Right. But those who have faith in the truth are determined in the path they will find. You have to be determined. It's very, very easy to fall and lose your faith. A lot of people do. I pray to the Buddha so much, and then the Buddha doesn't give me what I want. Then the Buddha said, did I ever promise you I'll give you what you want? Did I ask you to pray to me? I asked you to understand that this is the way the world crumbles. Don't get angry with the Buddha for tsunami. Tsunami is to do with plate tectonics. Don't go and stay in those low-lying areas. Then you're going to live in the mountain. Earthquake pula. Okay? So where can you run? The Buddha says that. Where can you run? You cannot run anywhere. He says, not in the cave or not in the bottom of the sea. Is there a safe place? Think about that. Where the only safe place is your mind, which is free from desire. Okay? Practice the Dhamma, 3 things. You are now in the first stage, to study. Pariyati, Pratipati, Pativeda. That is just to impress you, so don't try to. Alright. Pariyati is what you are doing now, study. Study is no use. All of you are now, everything is going in, taking notes and all that. Any tape recorder can do it. So if you have done this well, next life you'll become a good high-class tape recorder. Okay? Okay? That's not good enough. Okay? But whatever you learn, you must practice. And the Buddha says, even though a man recites 10,000 verses and another man only practices 1 verse, he is the one who follows me. So, practice. Alright? And then, realize. Realize is this. We see, we have in Buddhism, give me 5 minutes more. Okay? We have in Buddhism 2 types of beings. One is Silava, and the other is Silamayo. All of us are Silamayo. Silamayo means we are working to be good. Yeah? I will not kill. We say in the morning, I will not kill. Just as you finish, the mosquito comes and, sorry, terlepas. Tomorrow I sure I won't kill. Okay? But never mind. You try and try and try. We are trying to be good. We keep falling. But the more we try, the easier it becomes. That is Sila Mayo. A Buddha cannot tell a lie. By nature, he cannot tell. I think most of you are like me. If you gave me a chicken and said, now squeeze the chicken's neck and kill it, I can't. If you tell me, even if you tell me to do it, I cannot. It's just not there. The Buddha is completely incapable. So that is the point at which realization comes. When you have realization, then you don't need to try to be good. So our Buddhist path is divided into study, to practice, and realize. At the point of realization, you don't need to think about it. You are already purified. Okay? Right. The learned man who does not practice the Dhamma is like a colorful flower without a scent. Or, the Buddha says, the man who recites the Dharma, who talks about it without practicing it, he is like a spoon which carries the soup. The soup will never, and the spoon will never know the taste of the soup. If you don't practice the Dhamma, you are simply a spoon carrying the Dhamma, but you don't know the taste of the Dhamma. So you have to practice. Okay? The Buddha says, he who sees the Dhamma sees the Buddha. That's why we say, Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami. We don't pray to that Buddha image. That Buddha image represents the teaching of the Buddha. When you look at it, you see Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Okay? So don't pray to the Buddha. Look at that and remember the teaching. The teaching is actually in there. Okay? Buddhism contains an excellent moral code for monks and laity. Practicing morality is the first stage. Sila. Why am I pointing there? Let me show you. See, that's the Buddha image. It's like a triangle. The support of that image is the leg part. See, it's very broad. That is physical discipline. Don't kill, don't steal, etc. Alright? Then the second stage, however, any monkey can be trained not to kill, not to steal, not to tell lies, not to commit sexual misconduct, not to... Any monkey can be trained to do that. Any dog can be trained to do that. No problem. So you also can be trained. Okay? But, and this is where the other religions fail. All the other religions only concentrate on sila, behavior, physical discipline. The Buddha says from there you got to move on and discipline your mind. If your mind is disciplined, your body follows automatically. Silava. You see? So the Buddha says, of course you got to start with the body. Having done that, you don't stop there. You got to go to the next stage. You got to develop the mind. Once your mind has been developed, you are all potential Buddhas. You all have the Buddha nature in you. And when your body is disciplined and your mind is cultured, then you become a Buddha, which we call Panya, wisdom. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. So the entire teaching of the Buddha is in that one statue. And that is what it means by saying, the morality is the first stage. All right? Beyond morality is wisdom. Wisdom is paramount for purity. What is wisdom? See things as they really are. The Buddha did not praise clever people. Clever people like Einstein, who eventually led to the building of the bomb. Those are clever people. Hitler was a clever man. Okay? So clever people are not what we are looking for. We have enough of them reported in the papers every day. All right? Genuine Buddhists must practice loving kindness, compassion towards everyone. A Buddhist, by the way, is not one who calls himself a Buddhist, but one who practices compassion. Okay? And loving kindness. Wisdom is gained by the development of the qualities of the mind, and this is the moment you all have been waiting for, the end.